All right, you guys, so I'm going to be doing something a little bit different today. You guys have asked for a lot more in-depth videos about eBay. So if you're somebody that wants to get started on eBay, but you don't know how, or if you're somebody that has started on eBay but is slightly confused, I totally get it. I've been there and I want to make some videos kind of surrounding that. Now I have made a video for eBay beginners and how to get started, so I will link that down in the description below. That would be a great place for you to start. But in today's video, I wanted to simply go over the interface of eBay, specifically on the eBay Seller Hub, kind of go through what each section is and where you can go to look for certain things. So to start, in order to get to the eBay Seller Hub, you do have to have an eBay store subscription. There are different tiers for each subscription, but in my opinion, getting at least the smallest one is totally worth it in order to get these features and to have this view while you are listing. If you do not have an eBay store subscription, you will not be able to see all of the stuff that I'm showing you today. If you're someone who plans on selling on eBay consistently, I do think it is well worth it to get an eBay store subscription. You're going to save yourself time and money by having it. In most cases, people save money by having a store subscription versus just a regular profile. So let's dive into the eBay Seller Hub. In order to get to the eBay Seller Hub, you need to go up here and click Sell. From here, you should automatically be brought to your listings page, but that's actually not where we're going to start. We're going to start in the overview tab, so I'm going to click on that here. You guys can see this is my personal store data. If I have anything that I want to blur out, I'll make sure to do that, but this is an actual live store pulling actual real live information. So on the overview, I'm going to be honest, I do not use this page very much, but it can be a pretty beneficial page for a beginner. So it's going to tell you basically everything that you need to do that eBay's expecting you to do that day, or that is kind of flagging saying this is undone, which can be really important to determine exactly what eBay is looking for in a seller. And in my opinion, if those things are showing up on the eBay overview page, it's probably really important to eBay. So first one here at the top are going to be your messages. You can see I have 2 unread messages. You can click right into those. Next, awaiting shipment. These are the orders that I need to ship out. Today that I'm filming this is actually a Sunday. Post office is closed today, so I'll be shipping those out tomorrow. And the next are going to be your sales. Following that is your seller level forecast, and we'll talk about that here in a moment. But this is going to tell you where you are ranking, if you're top rated, if you're not. I know I've gotten a lot of questions from you guys about whether or not you're top rated. There is a place that you can check for that and kind of view your metrics. We're not going to deep dive into that today, but I will be able to show you where to find that. This next one is research recommendations. As a beginner, I basically do not recommend that you pay attention to anything on the research tab, but we'll go into that later today. And so as you scroll through, you can see a breakout of kind of everything that we listed up here. Here's some tasks, the things that they are expecting you to do. And you can see that it flags listings eligible to send offers, and also listings that might need some more filled in item specifics. You'll notice here that I have quite a bit, but we always fill out the required item specifics. However, some of the recommended item specifics we choose not to fill out. Over here, you're going to see a breakdown of your sales. Scrolling down, we have more tiles. You've got orders, your listings, your traffic. This could be a pretty important measurement for some people. Again, I'm not going to deep dive into anything today, but this is where you can find those metrics. Here's more about your seller level. This can be really beneficial right here, the shortcuts tab, especially for finding your eBay shipping supplies coupon and where to go to purchase them. That information is right here. You've got some different tools, some selling announcements. This tile can be really beneficial and one of the only places besides your messages to find the seller updates. Over here, we've got some offers that eBay allows, and these can actually help to save you money if you opt in to use them. You can see here, I subscribe to the premium store subscription, so it is counting how many I'm able to use in my subscription. In addition to that, any additional offers are also shown here that I can use up. Another important tile I would just like to mention is this one at the bottom called monthly limits. This is a great place to look if you are trying to figure out if you're getting close to your selling limit. So eBay does have selling limits, especially when you are a newer seller on eBay. They'll give you only a certain amount of items that you can list, and it's not only how many you list, new listings in a month, but it's also any active listings you have. Those active listings renew every 30 days, so every current listing you have is also counted towards your monthly allotment. And you can kind of see how close you're getting as this green bar fills up. This tile is really important because as a newer reseller, if you kind of dive deep into reselling on eBay, you're probably going to get to a point where this green bar fills up, but you still want to list more items, and you can use this little button right here to request to list more. So that's it for the overview page. It kind of pulls data from all of the tabs I'm about to show you. One important thing to note is you can personalize this page. Mine is just set by default, so everything that you're seeing should be how you see it as well, but you can actually add, remove tiles, or reorder to whatever you want this to look like for your store. So as we scroll back up to the top, we will move on to the orders page. It's automatically going to default to your manage orders awaiting shipment. This is because most of the time when you'll go to this page, you're going to be printing labels to ship out your orders. Without showing you all of my buyers' names, you can go here, and this is also where you can bulk print for shipping. I'm not going to do a deep dive again into anything today. This is just an overview, but hopefully soon we'll do a deep dive into each of these pages. On this page, you can find any of your orders, not just the ones that have been paid for and that you need to ship out, but also ones awaiting payment. And you can also find your orders that have been paid or shipped. This is a good place to pull reports from items that you have paid and shipped. Orders is also where you're going to find all of your resolution stuff. So anytime a buyer makes a claim against you, you're going to find that under orders. So here's your cancellations, your returns, any requests and disputes. A request or dispute would just be something that did not fall into one of these categories. Perhaps your buyer wanted to return an item, but it falls outside of your return window. That would then fall into requests and disputes. Another important one is this shipping labels area right here. You can see any of the shipping labels that you've printed. This can be important if you need to void a label or reprint it. This one is also very helpful. You can do automated feedback, which helps boost activity in your store. And here are your return preferences where you can set how you would like returns to be handled for your buyers. Moving on to the listings page, and I think everyone is familiar with this page. Remember, this is the one that eBay defaults to when you click into the Seller Hub, and I think that's because it's the most used. So here are your active listings, and without going too far into it, what I can tell you really quick about this page is there are some really great quick filters here, like offers that are eligible to be sent. So if I click on this button or any of these filters here, it'll quick filter for me. And here's those ones that I just pulled, and I can easily send out offers to my buyers. You've also got your unsold listings. If you're selling on multiple platforms, this is a place when you end a listing on eBay. Let's say it's sold on Poshmark and you end it on eBay. This is the place where all of those listings are going to go. So you'll still have a record with all of the information, and you're also able to relist from there. Drafts are going to be another important page, which is also on this listing tab. And this is where places go, kind of a little bucket before you actually list those items. So you can see we've got these drafts here. Some are ready to go, some are not and need to be completed. Once those are completed, we will either list those and they'll go into active, or we will schedule them, which will fall into this next section. And after they are scheduled and that day passes, they will then go into the active bucket. So it's really important on eBay to understand that everything has little buckets and sections that move. So next up is the scheduled listing tab. You can see we have 335 scheduled listings. From here you can see the date that you scheduled them in order. You can kind of manipulate that data how you want and also bulk edit any of your scheduled listings here. Next up is ended, and this is pretty much just your unsold tab. Actually, when I click on to ended, it just brings me here. The only thing you might find in ended that you won't find in unsold is if you have an auction item that ended. So if you were doing bidding on an item and nobody purchased it and the item just ended after however long, usually 7 days, it's probably going to fall up in this ended category. I'm not going to get into this right now, but there are ways to upload spreadsheets into eBay, and this is where that information would be. You also have listing settings here, your listing templates, business policies, and your item location and zip code. And this is basically a bulk editing feature for you to do for all of your listings. As a beginner, I do not recommend playing around with these because they can really mess up your store if you don't know what you're doing. Next would be marketing. I'm not going to go too much into detail on this. I don't recommend as a beginner you play around with this. I recommend you get kind of footing into some of the other sections that we've talked about that are more basic first. But this is the place that you can go to run sales, do a markdown, and also to access your buyer groups. So eBay just started a new thing where they'll pull different buyer groups for you. This could be like your last buyers from your store in the last like 30 days, and you can send them a coupon. You can do a special sale for them. And that's where you would go to access your buyer groups. Next up is going to be your store. Now this is what my store looks like, and it's pretty easy to navigate because there are just clickable, like what you see is what you get editing on your page. So you can customize your store there, and then at the end it does let you preview. And it kind of just guides you along as to how to make your store look nice. Next will be your performance tab. This is also another really important tab that I use pretty much every single week, if not every single day. This is where you can go to manipulate your sales data, pull reports, and kind of see them here on a graph page. This is also where you can find that information for your traffic that a lot of people want to look at. And that also does a breakdown of your selling costs. So it's automatically going to bring you to kind of an overview of your performance, but you can click into each of these and decide to pull certain dates of data. This one's automatically going to default to the last however many days, but you can actually manipulate it for a week or whatever. And this is where I actually pull my sales reports for my what sold videos. Another important section of the performance tab is your seller level. So if you click onto this, it'll give you your metrics as to where you are at on becoming a top rated seller, some things you might need to work on, and where to go from there. Next up would be your payments. I'm not going to click into this because I don't want to show any banking information, but this is where you can go to set up how you get paid and also how you pay for shipping labels and stuff like that. So if you're interested in that, make sure and click on that tab. That is how you can set up all of the settings for how you get paid. Next is going to be the research tab. This is the tab I said I don't really recommend for beginners, but this is where you can access the integration of Terapeak, which is another way to kind of search comps and look at data longer than 90 days. If you do sold comps on eBay, it's only going to show you 90 days. Terapeak actually allows you to look much longer than that, and so it can give you a somewhat more accurate description, and then in other ways not more accurate. In my opinion, if you're wanting to know how much something is selling for in a season, I would only look at the last 90 days. If you're wanting to know how much something sells for on average over the span of a year, this might be a place you want to go to look at the information. I personally do not use this tab very often. And then lastly, it's going to be your reports. So from here, you can actually tell eBay to pull certain reports from you every single month, and then they will automatically come and be sent to you here on this page. You can also, supposed to be able to, this does not work very well, create new listings and drafts in bulk by uploading a spreadsheet. Again, as a beginner, I do not recommend that you use this, but this is the place that you can go to do so. Alright guys, so that is a quick overview of the eBay Seller Hub. I hope that this video was helpful. Drop a comment down below if there's a specific section of the eBay Seller Hub you'd like me to do a deep dive into. I do plan on making more of these screen share videos for people who want to sell on eBay. If you're not already and you would like to be, don't forget to subscribe down below and hit that notification bell. It'll notify you every time I make content. Most of my content is not a screen share format. We do thrift hauls, we do what sold videos, we do day in the lives, but I am trying to incorporate some of this screen share stuff to be more helpful for those who need it. So make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.